Welcome back to Beyond the Box Score. Today, we're breaking down all the key NBA matchups for Sunday, November 23, 2025, giving you the expert picks, totals, and star duels you need to watch. The lights rise on an early season showdown loaded with stakes as the Miami Heat prepare to face the Philadelphia 76ers. Miami enters this matchup at 10-6, riding the momentum of a three-game win streak, and currently sitting fifth in the Eastern Conference, a team thriving on offensive rhythm and pace. Philadelphia, meanwhile, stands at 9-6, third in the Atlantic, and protecting a strong 5-3 home record. The matchup feels like a playoff preview arriving months early, a contest defined by explosive offenses, star-driven tempo, and two teams intent on climbing the early conference ladder. Miami comes into the game averaging a staggering 124.8 points per contest, the higher of the two squads, while Philadelphia counters with 118.4, led by its lightning-fast lead guard, delivering pace and precision in equal measure. Both teams boast elite individual scorers, but the stylistic contrast is striking. Miami pushes relentlessly downhill, attacking the rim and creating chaos in transition, while Philadelphia operates with a measured, half-court orchestration that balances perimeter shooting with interior control, creating a razor-sharp competitive edge. The tail of the tape sharpens the contrast even further. Miami shoots 48% from the field, 35.3% from three, and gets to the line at 79.7%, pairing this offensive efficiency with 45.3 rebounds, 30.6 assists, 9.2 steals, and 4.2 blocks, all while maintaining a blistering pace. Philadelphia, while slightly more measured, still delivers impressive numbers, shooting 46% from the field, 36.1% from deep, and also hitting 79.7% from the charity stripe, complemented by 25.9 assists, 44.5 rebounds, 7.5 steals, and 6.4 blocks, showcasing a disciplined half-court system and defensive structure designed to punish mistakes. The matchup narrows into a duel between Miami's high-powered offense and Philadelphia's rim protection and structured shot creation. Miami's engine, Norman Powell, leads the way with 24.9 points per game on 49.1% shooting, combining explosive scoring ability with rim control at 10.2 rebounds and 1.4 blocks, while Mitchell adds 7.2 assists, providing balance in both scoring and playmaking. Philadelphia responds with Maxey, whose 33.4 points, 7.9 assists, and 47.3% shooting command the floor, dictating pace and forcing defensive adjustments. Inside, Drummond and Bona provide a physical wall, grabbing 9.6 rebounds and 1.7 blocks respectively, giving Philadelphia a formidable interior presence that shapes its half-court identity. The battle revolves around these scorers, as Powell's controlled bursts clash with Maxey's offensive fireworks, with the pace they set likely determining the outcome. Recent form adds additional drama. Miami has posted 3 straight wins, showcasing offensive efficiency in high-output victories over Chicago and Golden State, punctuated by a thrilling 140-132 loss to Cleveland in a shootout with New York. They are a team pushing pace, consistently surpassing 110 possessions and winning through offensive rhythm. Philadelphia's last 5 games display turbulence but also resilience: an overtime win over Milwaukee, a tight loss to Toronto, and bounce-back victories against the Clippers and Celtics. When the perimeter defense locks in, Philadelphia's offense flows with precision, turning steady execution into winning formulas. Momentum leans slightly toward Miami's offensive engine, yet Philadelphia's home court stability and disciplined rotations keep the matchup razor close, creating a contest of rhythm versus structure. Tactically, Miami seeks space, speed, and dynamic movement. Their 30.6 assists per game reflect a drive and kick system, built to stretch defenses and force rotations, testing Philadelphia's help coverage and creating opportunities around the perimeter. Philadelphia counters with interior deterrence, Drummond and Bona forming a vertical wall that challenges Miami's aggressive rim attacks. On offense, spacing revolves around Maxey, whose late clock execution and mismatch exploitation keep Miami on its heels. Depth becomes a factor, as Miami's rotation is tested by injuries to Jovic, Harrow, Rozier, and Wiggins, while Philadelphia, despite uncertainty around Edgecombe and Embiid, maintains a steadier defensive size and late-game decision-making edge. X factors like Miami's three-point rhythm and Philadelphia's defensive switching discipline will likely decide the final outcome. Miami's scoring keeps them in contention, but Philadelphia's home stability, rim protection, and elite shot creation give the Sixers the narrow edge. The predicted total reflects the offensive pace, with an over of 234.5 looking likely in what promises to be a fast, high-energy duel. The Orlando Magic travel to Boston for a matchup that carries both statement power and early season weight. Orlando enters at 9-7, sitting third in the Southeast and pushing to stay competitive against Miami and Atlanta, while Boston stands 8-8, fighting to remain above water in the Atlantic as Toronto and New York rise. Both teams have split their season series, taking a game apiece and breaking 110 points, signaling how evenly matched this contest is likely to be. Orlando averages 116.7 points on 45.3% shooting from the field, 33.8% from deep, and an elite 85.5% at the line. Franz Wagner leads with 22.6 points, paired with Paolo Banchero's 18.1 points and 8.7 rebounds, while Jalen Suggs contributes 4.9 assists and 1.7 steals, applying defensive pressure and facilitating the offense. Go Betted anchors the paint with 1.2 blocks and efficient finishing inside. Boston counters with 113.2 points per game, powered by Jaylen Brown's 27.4 points on 50.3% shooting, with Derek White providing 5.2 assists, 1.7 steals, and stabilizing shot creation. Namias Queta adds 8.3 rebounds and 1.4 blocks, giving Boston interior presence to match Orlando's length. Orlando's multi-level scoring and transition bursts clash with Boston's half-court precision and rim protection, creating a tense balance. Recent form reflects similar tension. Orlando has won 3 of their last 5, with explosive offensive outputs against the Clippers, Warriors, and Nets, while Boston has also won 3 of 5, tightening their defense and showing improved late-game control. The star duel revolves around Wagner versus Brown. Wagner's methodical scoring and versatility meet Brown's rhythmic, high-volume offensive bursts, while Banchero and Queta battle for paint dominance. Suggs and White ignite a high-energy guard duel, full of pressure, anticipation, and sharp timing, shaping which side bends the opponent's defense first and opens opportunities for secondary scorers. Orlando's pace and wing versatility challenge Boston's disciplined half-court setups, yet Boston's defensive stability at home, combined with Brown's current form, gives them a narrow edge. Despite Orlando's scoring versatility, Boston's interior resistance and late-game execution project them to a slim 4-point margin victory, with the total likely pushing over 218.5. The Brooklyn Nets head north to face the Toronto Raptors in a game that feels as much about survival as statement-making. Brooklyn arrives at 3-12, trying to regain footing, while Toronto sits at 11-5, riding a 6-game surge, dominant at home and controlling early standings. Brooklyn produces 109.9 points per game on 44% shooting, relying heavily on volume threes and rebounding effort, with Nick Claxton anchoring the paint at 7.5 rebounds and 1.3 blocks. Michael Porter Jr. drives the offense at 24.8 points per game, knocking down 48.6% from the field and nearly 39% from deep. Toronto, operating at a higher tempo and scoring 121.1 points per game on 50% shooting, leverages superior ball movement and a balanced rotation. Brandon Ingram contributes 21.1 points, while Scotty Barnes adds 14.8 points, 7.6 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and 1.6 blocks. Emmanuel orchestrates with 6.1 assists per game, controlling pace and spacing. Defensively, Toronto thrives on length, instincts, and disruption, producing 8.9 steals and 4.4 blocks per game, turning defensive pressure into easy scoring opportunities. Brooklyn's reliance on individual shot-making clashes with Toronto's system-oriented offense, a battle highlighted by the Porter vs. Ingram duel. Porter's size and shooting blend with high usage, while Ingram's mid-range control and disciplined scoring challenge defensive rotations. Toronto's depth, efficiency, and switching versatility make them the likely victor, with a total projected over 119.5 points. San Antonio Spurs travel west to face the Phoenix Suns, a matchup between two ascending teams seeking validation in early season positioning. San Antonio enters at 11-4, fourth in the West, riding confidence and cohesion, while Phoenix stands at 10-6, second in the Pacific, trending upward after tightening rotations and rediscovering offensive rhythm. Both teams are offensively explosive, San Antonio scoring 119.3 points on 50.1% shooting and 37.8% from three, while Phoenix averages 119.0 points on 47.9% shooting and 37.6% from distance. Rebounding and defensive stats are similar, yet each team leverages its star to shape possessions. Victor Wembanyama delivers 26.2 points, 12.9 rebounds, and 3.6 blocks, a two-way force, while De'Aaron Fox supplies tempo with 17.1 points and 7.2 assists. Phoenix's Devin Booker controls pace with 27.1 points, 7.1 assists, and 51.7% shooting, complemented by Dillon Brooks's 18.6 points and 2.1 steals, while Mark Williams anchors the interior. The star duel, Wembanyama vs. Booker, becomes a study of interior dominance against perimeter orchestration. San Antonio seeks to impose size, win the glass, and use early ball movement to disrupt Phoenix's rhythm. Phoenix aims to create mismatches, push tempo, and leverage its deep perimeter rotation. Bench contributions and X factors like Castle's assertiveness, Brooks's shot selection, Williams's foul management, and Fox's late-game control can tilt the outcome. San Antonio's size, rebounding, and two-way balance give them a subtle edge, even as Phoenix's scoring bursts ensure a dynamic, high-scoring affair, with a projected total over 230.5. Next, the Eastern Conference spotlight turns to Atlanta, where the Hornets and Hawks clash in a game loaded with tension and early season implications. Charlotte enters at 4-2, desperate to halt a 5-game skid and stabilize a campaign defined by offensive bursts and defensive instability. Atlanta stands at 9-7, seeking to rebound after consecutive losses and reassert itself within the Southeast Division hierarchy. The contrast is immediate. Charlotte thrives on speed and improvisation, pushing possessions into chaos, while Atlanta prefers controlled spacing, disciplined shooting, and defensive accountability. On paper, the home team carries the edge, but the narrative unfolds around how these identities collide. Charlotte scores 118.6 points per game, driven by Miles Bridges' 22.3 points and LaMelo Ball's 9.6 assists, pairing elite three-point accuracy at 39.1% with rapid offensive movement. Their 48% field goal mark and 26.3 assists reveal fluid ball movement, but defensive lapses undercut their efforts, allowing 120.9 points while blocking just 7 per game, led by Ryan Kalkbrenner's 2.1. Atlanta counters with steadier efficiency, 117.8 points on 49% shooting, 35.8% from three, and a defensive shell that limits opponents to 115.7 points while securing 41.4 rebounds per game. Dyson Daniels' 2.4 steals and Porzingis' 1.6 blocks illustrate the Hawks' capacity to create impact plays on both ends. This matchup is a story of peaks versus poise, volatility versus structure, and a star-laden duel defining the pace and tone. Bridges' aggressive three-point efficiency meets Jalen Johnson's balanced 22.3 points and 9.6 rebounds, while Ball's visionary passing contends with Trae Young's long-range influence, a clash of improvisation and controlled shot-making that will dictate the flow of play. Atlanta's defensive discipline, rebounding, and reliable late-game execution position them favorably. Charlotte can score in bursts, but Atlanta's rotation depth and perimeter control should close the game under the home court's pressure. The total carries a high probability of exceeding 230.5, given the offensive firepower on both sides and Charlotte's historical defensive lapses. Shifting to Cleveland, the Cavaliers host the LA Clippers in a matchup weighted by contrast in both trajectory and style. Cleveland enters at 11-6, fortified by a 7-3 home record and a fluid, efficient offense averaging 119.9 points per game on 50.7% shooting. Their balanced scoring distributes pressure across multiple levels. 31.5 rebounds, 27.1 assists, 9.8 steals, and 5.9 blocks reflect an organization built on interior dominance, perimeter disruption, and relentless cutting. The Clippers arrive at 5-11, struggling on the road at 2-6, relying on methodical perimeter-oriented offense with 111 points per game on 47% shooting, 38.1% from deep, and 88.1% free throw accuracy. They move the ball well, posting 23.7 assists, but the rebounding gap versus Cleveland's 31.5 boards exposes structural vulnerabilities. LA leans on James Harden's 26.5 points and 8.6 assists, relying on his ability to generate offense in isolation and manipulate defenses, while Kawhi Leonard adds efficiency, defensive discipline, and scoring balance. Cleveland answers with Donovan Mitchell, 30.3 points on 50.7% shooting, 38.3% from three, and 82.2% from the line, with additional production from Evan Mobley's length and rebounding and Jared Allen's interior scoring. The narrative centers on whether Law's perimeter precision can offset Cleveland's interior pressure and scoring rhythm. Recent form suggests the Cavaliers hold the emotional edge, riding 3 wins in their last 5 games, refining perimeter defense, and balancing scoring across multiple tiers. Cleveland's depth, including Sam Merrill's shooting and DeAndre Hunter's wing defense, adds further layers of security against Law's variable offensive bursts. LA can compete through Harden's orchestration, but the rebounding deficit and Cleveland's interior proficiency create a decisive margin, pushing the total over 226.5 with both sides capable of high-output stretches. Out west, the Trailblazers visit Oklahoma City, a battle defined by divergent momentum. The Thunder stand at 16-1, undefeated at home, and riding an 8-game winning streak that underscores their dominance atop the Northwest Division. Portland enters at 7-9, seeking stability and a chance to make a statement against one of the league's hottest teams. Portland's offense averages 121.1 points per game, with 45% shooting, 32.6% from deep, and 81.1% at the line, supported by 45.4 rebounds and 25.7 assists. But their defense concedes 122.5 points per game, a liability Portland has struggled to address consistently. Denny Adia's 25.9 points and Donovan Clingan's 10 rebounds and 1.6 blocks illustrate a team capable of bursts of dominance yet prone to lapses. Oklahoma City offers superior two-way balance, averaging 122.6 points on 49% shooting and 35.1% from three, while defending at 108.3 points allowed. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander orchestrates the offense with 31.9 points and 6.6 assists, paired with Hartenstein's 10.7 rebounds and Holmgren's 1.4 blocks. The matchup becomes a duel of offensive firepower versus disciplined, efficient machinery. Portland's scoring volatility contrasts with Oklahoma City's precise structure, and recent form tilts heavily toward the Thunder, who have won 5 straight, including decisive victories over Utah and the Lakers. Tactically, Oklahoma City's superior board control, turnover management, and perimeter disruption should stymie Portland's half-court flow, while the Blazers rely on hot three-point shooting and transition bursts to stay competitive. The total again leans over 230.5, reflecting the pace and scoring capacity of both sides. Finally, Salt Lake City hosts the Lakers, a game layered with Western Conference significance. Los Angeles arrives at 11-4, riding a 3-game win streak and operating as a rising powerhouse, while Utah sits at 5-10, attempting to halt a 2-game skid and reclaim stability. Los Angeles scores 117.9 points per game on 51.1% shooting with 23 assists, 9.8 steals, and 3.3 blocks, exemplifying controlled, punishing efficiency. Utah averages slightly more at 118.9 points, but the cost of high-usage attempts is visible in 45% shooting, 35.1% from 3, and defensive fragility, allowing 128.1 points and committing 17.7 turnovers per game. The matchup pivots on star duels. Los Angeles' primary creator delivers 34.6 points, 9 assists, and 8.8 rebounds, orchestrating pace with precision alongside DeAndre Ayton's interior stability. Utah counters with Lauri Markkanen, 29.9 points on 48.5% shooting and solid rebounding, capable of swinging momentum with a single hot quarter. Recent trends favor the Lakers, who won 4 of their last 5, including a commanding 140-126 victory over Utah itself, highlighting defensive tightening and offensive flow. Strategically, Los Angeles' low turnover rate, efficient shooting, and disciplined rotations allow them to counter Utah's high-volume, turnover-prone attack. Utah's chances rest on forcing extra possessions, three-point hot streaks, and exploiting transition opportunities, while Los Angeles' bench depth and late-game poise favor control. The total projects over 240.5 as both teams carry offensive firepower capable of lighting up the scoreboard. The narrative is clear: structure, efficiency, and consistency versus volatility and burst scoring, with Los Angeles' precision likely to carry them to another victory while Utah battles to keep pace in waves. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want daily NBA predictions, betting insights, and in-depth game analysis, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Drop a comment below with your own picks for today's games. We want to hear your takes. And don't forget to give this video a like if you're ready to dominate your NBA watchlist this week. Stay locked in with Beyond the Box Score for more expert insights and winning strategies.